Let's make your driver swing super natural. Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is all about driver. And I just want to address one thing really. Everyone's saying, Alex, it always looks cold where you live. I'm starting to agree with you. Today is freezing. Happy Tuesday everybody, let's get into today's video. So something that was raised to my attention by one of my lessons, Martin, and Martin, you're probably watching right now. He said there's far too much instruction out there on just do this or just feel this, but there's not enough on how to achieve it. Let me give you this example. Most of us know we want to hit on the up with driver, but we don't actually have a how to do that. Yes, some titles on YouTube may say that, but actually, if you think about it, if there's so many videos out there and you're still not achieving it, there's got to be some reasons behind that. Well, today's is slightly different. Broken it down into 3 sections. I'm just going to give you 2 key points that I want you to think about and want you to understand, and I'm going to give you the how with my really nice simple drill to allow you just to hit on the up in your driver swing, which we all know we want to do. Let's think about this logically. If we want a natural looking driver swing, well, we better get set up to this golf ball as best we can. So let's talk through tee height. I like to feel like I set up to driver with this pink tee height and have half a ball above the face. That's the first foundations. Now, think about building this swing outwards down the shaft. We go hands, we go stance, we go posture. These are the first steps in order to create a natural driver swing. Logically, right? If we're not stood to this golf ball correctly, how can we swing naturally? So we have to make sure our setup echoes and mirrors what club we've got in our hands. Think logically. You wouldn't set up to a putter as you would a bunker shot. Same sort of theory applies to driver. And what tee height are you currently using? Is it pink, orange, white, or do you just prefer that wooden tee? I've sort of changed. I remember me saying back on the channel, plastic tees aren't for me. Well, I'm a changed man. Just a bit easier, I guess. Okay, first point is setup, and these are the simple key points that you've just got to get right. And this is 30 seconds on point 1, 30 seconds now on point 2, and then we're into the drill. But bear in mind, you have to get these factors right because we're building up to that. So I lay my golf club down behind the back of the golf ball. I use the line of my golf ball to point the target, and I build my stance all around that, creating parallel lines between my feet, my knees, my hips, and my shoulders to my golf ball. So I know I'm not going to fall into that pitfall of shoulders open. So a nice little trigger is I want my trail shoulder for a right-handed golfer, your right shoulder a little bit lower than your lead, and your right arm, your trail arm, a little bit lower than your lead. So you can really see here, I'm making just these simple key moves to allow me to work correctly without having to manipulate anything. That is point number 1. Now we're set up to this golf ball correctly, we can talk through takeaway. What do we want to feel through this takeaway? So we have this concept of being wide, don't we? And let's say we want to be wide in that takeaway because if we're narrow, we're more likely to chop down. So I want you, really nice and simply, just to feel as though you make some practice swings, first and foremost, just with your one hand on the golf club, your glove hand, and just feel some width. Wouldn't move this way. Straight away, feel as though there's a piece of string attached to your sternum, to your golf club. Don't take the slack off. So really nice and simple. This is what I want you to take away. We're making sure we're not opening that club face. We're making sure we've got some width and we've got some turn. So that is all I want to mention for point number 2. That concept of a piece of string from the top of your logo on your driver attached to your sternum. Well, moving like this will certainly take the slack off. Moving like this will allow you to keep that tension on that piece of string and control that club through the takeaway. It's now time for my downswing drill, and this is the point at which you've been sticking around for on this video, so thank you for sticking around to this point. I promise you this, you will not be disappointed. This is a fantastic drill to swing the golf club naturally. But hopefully you have seen why those first 2 points of setup and takeaway are important. I remember a very famous golfer, let's see who can name them down below in the comments. The first foot of the golf swing is the most important part, or something around that quote. Don't quote that directly, but I think you all know who I'm on about. All you're gonna need for this drill is 2 alignment sticks and an optional piece of foam. I just have this on just to protect my alignment stick. They don't have to purchase one of those, but you can get them from any of your local hardware stores. And you know what? Sometimes it may take a little bit of playing around with in terms of setting up this noodle on an angle. If you are down at a driving range, just place it through a bucket. That's really nice and simple. It doesn't have to be anything fancy on that front, just place it through a bucket. Essentially, what we're trying to get something to do is hang over the golf ball, roughly 2 club heads behind and roughly 3 club heads above the ground. And that is exactly how we're going to set up this brilliant driver drill. So this is really addressing that factor of how do we hit on the up? This is a fantastic drill. We're going to tell you now how you're going to organise your body, and that's going to help you organise correctly. Now, if you think of this alignment stick, the one that's sort of hanging over with the foam on, this is just your way of getting some instant feedback on whether you're doing this correct or incorrect. Now, most of us create this move which we're trying to take out of our golf game, where we swing significantly over and sort of downwards on the golf ball. We would smash into that noodle and we would instantly not get a very good strike. In fact, we'd probably struggle to get to the golf ball in general. But what I want you to take away is this concept, that your bottom of the arc has to happen before the golf ball, but this is how you're going to organise your body. Let's start from where you are right now, on that down the line perspective. We're going to swing to the top of the backswing from that great setup and takeaway, and I want you to feel as though your hips go back to target, but your shoulders stay pointing to the right. Now let your arms and upper body swing into the golf ball. Well, look where I attack this ball from, look at where my shoulders are pointing, and look at my ability to hit on the up. I'm organising my body correctly in the start of this downswing in order to get the benefits at impact. So look at me here. I'm really starting to move with a bit more of a natural look to my golf swing. Think of it this way. There's 2 trains of thought on this. If I was really wanting to throw something as far as I can and launched as high as I can, but getting like an optimal flight, well, I wouldn't just throw it upwards like this, and I wouldn't throw it like that. Both of those would do either too low for the second one or too high for the first one. What I would do is move like this. Well, this is what I want you to do. This is that natural aspect. Bringing in a different sport, bringing in a different feeling from an everyday movement helps make it more natural, and then this gives us feedback. The one mistake that I see most golfers do when we go and practice, we just don't know if we're doing it right or wrong. And that's not your fault. You've not been told how to practice. So this is the theory. That is how you're going to practice. So if I bring that full circle from this good setup, from this brilliant takeaway, can we feel as though we organise it where we feel like we're throwing that ball or throwing your club head into the ball just like this? And for me as a right-handed golfer, I would really feel and practice this just with my right hand. Maybe even take a step into it. and through. Because what you're doing, you're attacking the golf ball from the inside, you're coming into the golf ball with a slight bit of shoulder tilt, helping us get our bottom of the arc happening in between the noodle and the golf ball, and that is how we're going to hit on the up. Bringing this alive, well, just look. Throwing it into the ground, throwing it too high, well, that middle ground between them is this way. And in a nutshell, that is the simplicity of it. Look at what we have as our trigger. It's this motion. We're up, lower, upper, arms. Boom. As simple and natural as you have to make this driver swing. So using the setup, using the takeaway and the noodle as a great example of where we feel that we've got to swing under is just a brilliant way to go out there and practice this natural driver swing. Remember, use this as a guide. The theory is throwing that golf ball and driving that as far as we could would be like this. Not like this, and again, not like this. It's now time to hit one away. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I really do hope you enjoyed the video, and that crow, clearly loving it. Anyway, if you did enjoy it and you've not hit that big red subscribe button, don't forget to hit it and join this team. I look forward to joining you tomorrow, same time, for some more daily golf content.